This week's Parsha Haazinu begins with Moshe calling upon heaven and earth to act as witnesses for what he's about to say to Israel. Moshe then starts off his song by saying the following words: Ya'arov kamatal lekchi, tizal katal imrati, kisirim ale desha, v'chervivim ale esev. In general, it is hard to translate the prose of this parsha, as each word or even each phrase can have multiple meanings and connotations. And this first verse, even the very first phrase, Ya'arov kamatar lekchi, is no different. What message is Moshe trying to convey to the people, his audience, by starting off his song with this phrase? The key to understanding this phrase is by decoding the word Ya'arov. This word can be translated in multiple ways. The most common way of understanding the word Ya'arov is to drop, meaning Moshe starting off his prose by saying, "Let my teachings drop like the rain." Moshe is using this imagery as a prayer, hoping that his teachings will be accepted by the nation in a similar manner to the rain being accepted by vegetation. The water first drops down into a certain area. As more water drops, it gathers and surrounds the plant. Over time, it seeps into the soil, thereby nourishing and keeping the plant alive. So too was Moshe's prayer about his teachings. The Sifri explains what Moshe meant. Rain is meant to gather together, to be saved and to be used for the future. For instance, cisterns were built for this express purpose, especially in desert climates, to provide a stable water supply for the people, ensuring their safety and prosperity even during hard times. The Sifri explains that Moshe was praying that his teachings should be that way too. First, he taught God's teachings to the people. He dropped the information a bit at a time. Over time, this information would gather and become a lot. The information was meant to be saved for later use and study. Then, even when Moshe would no longer be there, the people would still continue to absorb what he had given over to them and internalize what he had taught. The word Ya'arov can also be translated as killing. The Midrash homiletically understood that Moshe was telling Israel that he killed himself for them to learn the Torah from God in order to teach it to them. Remember that Moshe spent 40 days and 40 nights with God twice in order to acquire the Torah. The word Ya'arov can also be translated as breaking the neck, as we see by the Eglah Arufa, V'arafu et sham et ha'eglah banachal, they broke the neck of the calf in the stream, or by the firstborn donkey that was not redeemed. V'imlo tifteh v'arafto, and if it was not redeemed, then you shall break its neck. Why would Moshe use a term for breaking the neck to associate his teachings with water? On multiple occasions, God and Moshe called Israel a stiff-necked people. Moshe is praying that his words will break the neck of the stiff-necked person and penetrate into the person. How will his teachings do this? Similar to Rabbi Akiva's later observation, water over time will cut through something even as hard as a rock. Moshe is praying that just as water will eventually go through rock and penetrate deeply, so too will his transmission of God's teachings eventually break through the stiff neck of the stiff-necked people and penetrate into the heart of every Jew. Shabbat Shalom.